1017 World FM proudly presents Sorin in the City, a weekly look at the issues, people, events, and trends that make up our dynamic community. And now, here's Sorin with this week's special guests.
Good morning, everyone, on this beautiful Saturday. Welcome to the Sorin in the City show on World FM, a show aiming to educate you about multiculturalism in our city, present issues and events, as well as what's hot and spicy in the ethnic communities. Feel free to drop us a line after the show at the email address sorin@travelbydart.com. That's Sorin, S-O-R-I-N, at travelbydart.com. I'm excited today's show because it features three amazing individuals with a lot of stories to tell. We will have Dr. Vivian Abboud, community and women advocate. Then we'll have Eva Karvonen, one of the most talented filmmakers Edmonton has. And we will end with Željko Sulaver, one of the organizers of the Serbian Days Festival, happening this weekend in Edmonton. But first, we have Dr. Vivian Abboud, an inspiration for many people here in town. Vivian is a community and women advocate, public servant, and founder of Viva Cafe. She moved to Canada at 17, coming from Lebanon, and she is the winner of several awards and achievements, such as being selected in the top 25 immigrants in Canada in 2014, also one of the top 40 under 40 here in Edmonton last year by Avenue magazine. Vivian also contributed to the creation of the Women Advocacy Voice in Edmonton. Vivian, thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thank you for having me, Sorin. It's my pleasure.
So many questions. Where do I start? What is your daytime job and what occupies your day besides being an inspiration to many Edmontonians?
Well, I have to say that my main focus every day is my day job as a public servant with the provincial government. I've been a public servant for 17 years. The first 7 years as a teacher with Edmonton Public, and then the last 10 years with the provincial government. So I put my heart and soul into getting things right and being very effective and getting the right thing done.
You've been going through a lot of challenges ever since you're living in Lebanon. Can you share some, crazy stories from back home during the civil war?
Well, I've been here for 21 years, and I lived for 17 years in Lebanon. I would say that I witnessed, in addition to the great things that I've lived through my family and community, there were lots of challenges because we lived through a civil war. And during the civil war, there are many human rights that are violated, many people who don't have a voice. And the weak ones are the poor people, the women, the ones who don't have the support, who don't have political affiliation. And there's many stories of injustice. I mean, I remember the day when my dad was taken against his will, and we had no idea why, and thankfully they sent him back home at the end of the day. But can you imagine a family with a mom and 3 kids or 4 kids worrying about the dad who is the one who is raising the family, bringing the making the money for the family to survive, all of a sudden taken away. So that's one story that touched me personally. But every single day through the civil war, whether on TV or whether in the road or from people around us, neighbors, many unfortunate stories of sadness and tears, especially for kids, poor, and women.
Now, living here and after overcoming all these hardships, what's your advice on how to pass the struggles that every immigrant goes through?
I would say that, the first thing to focus on is treat your arrival to Canada as a gift, and that's how I saw it. Many people say to me that I was born to live in Canada because I was able to build the things that I wanted to do. My biggest advice to them is to never believe in stereotypes, never to allow discrimination cross their mind. It doesn't mean that it does not exist, but it ensures that it does not create a limit within their mentality, within their minds. Also to really reflect on themselves, throw out the beliefs that they have kind of gained when they were back home that are not compatible with the Canadian society, and of course protect the great values to ensure that they're not assimilated. So I believe that it becomes a win-win situation for them. So that's my advice to them.
So that's the right mindset to have when moving to Canada, you would say. Tell us about Daughter's Day. I think it's something that the listeners should be very interested to learn about, and I know there is a lot there.
Well, since I arrived here, I've been quite involved in the community. At the beginning, I was more involved in the welcoming community, and eventually I started building bridges to the community at large. And that's where I saw many opportunities and many ways of having a voice, being an active member of the community, and at the same time making a positive difference. And that's how one of my engagements was with Daughters Day. I'm on the board of Canadian for Civil Society, and one of my responsibilities is to chair Daughters Day. Daughters Day has been founded by outstanding leaders 5 years ago to celebrate the achievements, the life, and the accomplishment of girls and women in our community. We know that many women survive violence. We know that many women don't have the voice that they want to have. So that's a way of celebrating some of unsung heroes and putting the light on what they're doing, and not only on what they're doing, but also on the opportunities that exist and some of the challenges and how they were able to overcome challenges. So Daughters Day nominations right now are available on daughtersday.com. The packages are on there. June 17 is the deadline for nominating, and the celebration will take place in August 27 at Edmonton City Hall. And the focus, the steering committee for Daughters Day has decided that the focus will be raising awareness about reconciliation and about Indigenous peoples and perspectives and cultures. So please nominate and feel free to send us messages, emails, and we'll be happy to help out and shine the light on our great girls and women who are making a difference in our society at many levels.
What's the website again, just so people
DaughtersDay.com.
Oh, that's
yes.
so easy.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Tell us about Viva Cafe. I know you created that to help immigrants in some way.
Yes, and again, because of my involvements in different communities and in the community at large, I noticed that sometimes the information does not get to the women or to the community, or sometimes the community itself or the person itself does not know how to get to it. And I found out that there are still many, there are women who are disadvantaged because they don't know how to get to the information and they don't know how to build the bridges, or sometimes there's limits within, sometimes the mentality itself, sometimes the community, even though there are many supports within a community. So that's when I decided to create Viva Cafe. I'm very passionate about cuisine. I'm very passionate about making food, and I'm told that I make good food too. So I
gotta stop by.
Yeah. So that's why I decided to make that connection between my passion and how I could build bridges for these women and my entrepreneurial spirit. There's lots of focus in business in our days on making money and making profit, but not necessarily on the social entrepreneur skills. And I thought this is a great opportunity where I could give the build on the expertise and talents of women from diverse communities, and also help them in answering their questions, cultivating themselves, and building bridges to other opportunities. So that was really the concept of Viva Cafe. And right now we have one location at Holy Trinity High School and at the Devonian Botanic Gardens.
Perfect. Vivian, thank you so much for coming here today. You've been listening to Dr. Vivian Abboud, community and woman advocate, inspiration for all of us here in Edmonton. We'll take a little break. Don't go anywhere.
You're in tune with Sorin in the City on 1017 World FM.